Okay, notes today are really quick but super important. We're going to talk about why we see things, and the big thing to remember is that light is a type of energy, so it's moving, but it moves in different ways. For example, as soon as you see my face through this bottle, you see that it starts to get distorted. That's because the waves move through water differently than they move through air. Think about running through water. If I was trying to run through water, it would take me a really long time because it's hard. Water is dense. Those molecules are close together. So light behaves in the same way. The light's coming through, but as soon as it gets to this water, it slows down because it's reached a thicker, more dense substance that slows it down. But there's all sorts of ways that light reacts, and we're actually going to talk about 4 of them today. The first one is transmit. Every time we see transmit, that T for transmit is going to stand for through. Transmit means to pass through. Also, make sure you draw your diagram of just a light line that's passing through a barrier. Light can also reflect. We should know this one from a mirror. That means whatever you're seeing bounces off the mirror and comes back to you. That's why things are backwards in a mirror, because it's being reflected. So reflect means bounce back. Our next one, absorb. Just like a sponge takes things in, absorb means it takes the light in. But energy can't be created or destroyed, so the light has to go somewhere. It actually gets converted to heat. Think about black clothing. That absorbs all your light, and that turns it into heat, which is why sometimes your uniforms get so hot. And our last one is refract. That's what we started to talk about, why I kind of look funny through the water. Because the light is trying to get through, but anything that's too thick or too dense, remember that means stuck together, is going to slow it down and change the way it comes back into our eyes. So refract is bending because of changing density in mediums. And mediums is a fancy way to say different materials. For our diagram, you're going to draw it first and then I'll explain it. So this is water, and what we have is the light coming in at a certain angle. It slows down when it hits the water because it's really thick, but as soon as it gets back to the air, it goes back to that original path, which was angled up. So these two lines are parallel because they're both air, but as soon as it hits the water, it slows down. But as soon as it's done with that water, boop, it's going back to being fast. Your job today, as always, is to pass your prove it. Make sure you're practicing. Make sure you're answering your Sorry Charlie questions so that you know you're ready for today's prove it. Good luck.